Hello, guys, it's James, and we're here for the qualifying final, elimination final, betting tips. It is like we were treated with an awesome game last night. I mean, unlucky that Dacos missed by one posie, and there was a posie that counted that wasn't a posie because it was throw. But anyway, that being said, it is a great time for footy. The games should all be close, they should be exciting. It's a very tough, hard fought top eight. It's great for footy. So I'm super keen. I was gonna buy tickets and fly down for the Brisbane game, but I'm gonna hold off because I'm gonna go to the Gabba either for the semi or the prelim, and then hopefully maybe go down again to Melbourne later on. But so yeah, otherwise I'll be watching it up here, glued to the screen. Oh, I'm so excited for footy. Can't wait. I hope all you guys have had a great home and away season. We finished fourth, just under 4,500 because that Gold Coast game was a loss. But all in all, like, this has been the best year that I've done. Personally, I've had a huge year. I was thinking of doing like a clickbait video and look how much I've won to try, because I hate pumping up my own tires. Well, I don't like doing it because it's not a bragging contest, but I've done really well, and I wanted to make a video and be like, because I've made around 15k this year on betting on footy, and it's maybe I do my own bets and stuff, because this is huge, right? These bets I do on the video, 4,500 just betting $50 on every game, capitalizing on the bonus bets. That's not even including when to bet harder, or sometimes I'll bet 100, 200 if I've had a couple of losses and just get that tally up. So I'm really stoked with this year. This is fantastic betting results for betting the same amount of money on every game and switching between Ladbrokes and Neds. And I make sure to include who I bet with as well, who I say, because I know sports bet are different odds. But yeah, this has been a huge home and away season. And if anyone's who's bet on the past knows that finals footy is a little bit different. Even last night, you saw Nick Dacos missed by one posie. You saw Jordan Dawson missed by one posie. Different brackets, mind you. But only two players got over 25 posies, like Worrell and DeGoey. So it is hard fought, contested footy. No time for mucking around, sort of switching the play, padding your stats. Nick Dacos, he got a lot of hard footy, but he's not getting those cheapies like handball receives. There's no piss farting around. This is the pointy end of the season, so might have to just not reconsider, just, I don't know, be cautious with some of the high posi players, because I really like not just the high posi players, just finals atmosphere. The intensity's gone up. So there's a lot of good odds you'll notice as well for these games. But we're playing with 4 games this year, this week, sorry. And it's different to how we usually play, because if I have this little thing up, bets you have to win. So, through a regular home and away season game round, where there's 9 games in the round, we usually go here for these $3 odds, which means we have to win roughly 3 games per week to break even. So it's pretty good. So you have to win 33% of your games. I think that is more than manageable to win 3 games a week to break even. So my point is, with these home and away, with the finals, this home and away bets you need to do to break even doesn't really apply, because we're going with 4 games this week, and then we're going with 2 games, 1. So there's not much, you can't really sort of play back, or, there's no, if you have a bad round or, a bad couple of games, it's not like you can just go harder on the next one or just catch up, because that's kind of how my betting process is. It's like a roundabout. It's a roller coaster of going up, down. But in the scheme of things, you're slowly going up. Even though it's wavy, you're going up. With the finals, because everyone's playing with something on the line, do or die. It's very hard to continue a steady profit, but it's a long-winded way of just saying, maybe treat these games for a bit more fun. I can completely understand if you want to tap out now. And there's a lot of good players. Don't overload your bet slip. So yeah, just enjoy your finals. Don't expect this to be as successful as the regular home and away season betting. But yeah, we'll just keep that in mind. Otherwise, yeah, super stoked with the year. I'll quit rambling. We'll go through the recap of round 24. Not that we really care because we want to talk finals, but let's do it anyway. Essendon versus Carlton, so long ago now. That was the Thursday night. Oh, because there were 2 games Friday night. So Carlton won by 34 points. McGrath's playing more on ball. All this doesn't really matter now because these teams aren't playing. So I usually love doing the review because I like to chat about what I've learned, like who's playing where. Was there a cause for concern why they missed? Are they having a role change? Was it just an unlucky miss? Like we can bet on them next week. I mean, they all hit great. Dylan Shield, 30 posies. He really wants to, if he's not playing for Essendon next year, he wants to maybe probably have one more year. Blake Acres was huge on the wing. Adam Sard was cutting it close, but he got there in the end. And you can even see from the miss column as well. I was surprised with some of these misses, but yeah, anyway, half these teams aren't even playing anymore, so we'll just go through it. Jake Melksham, a goal. He got 2 in the end. That goal where he kicked the snap, right, it's sort of a little bit out in front. That was great. Usually we don't go goal scorers. I only go goal scorers if I'm really bullish and they're presenting good value. And you'll notice Jake was like $1.26 and he was kicking bags before that. He was only worth good value because he's going up against like Collingwood, which are a good side, and because he was tax sub the week before. So he only got to play half a game. I can't remember if he kicked a goal in that half a game, but because there was a lot of not concern, there was a lot of questions like, why is he sub? He's your best forward at the moment. So that wasn't going to happen again. The point is I was very bullish on him to score a goal. Didn't really matter who he was playing at that point. Pendlebury, super consistent, like has probably missed once all year. Viney, Maynard was great last night as well. Darcy Cameron, Darcy, I don't know if you watched that. Darcy Cameron got his 14th posie with like 20 seconds left. Just a sort of hat kick in their defensive 50, get the ball out. So that was very, very close. But we still hit 3 in a row. Thursday, Friday, all just bang. And you know what's crazy, right? So look at this good week. Look at $500 profit. That's after last week, after we just won 1. And like, I mean, that's just what happens. And that just goes back to my other point where it's, up, down, up, down. Don't get discouraged with the losses because there's another week where you can keep going. Not like chase your losses, but I watch so much footy. I'm very confident in my picks. So I know if I have bad weeks, it's going to come back around. I also know if I have good weeks, it's also going to come back around. So you just have to take all that into consideration. Hence why finals is different because there's only so many games left. Anyway, back to this game. Zach Butter's huge. I think he was coming off a tagged game, so Gold Coast don't tag, so that one was free. Connor Rosie also had a good game, so that was good to see in the midfield. I've been not very bullish on him since he's been back in the midfield. I liked him way better in the halfback. Speaking of halfback, Kane Farrell and John Noble both did what they need to do. Willem Drew got a bunch of it, and Joe Richards. I'm also very sorry to everyone in the comment section for when I did this post. I accidentally had Jackson Mead, but everywhere else I wrote Richards. In the comments I wrote Richards. In this little table I wrote Richards. So I just literally misclicked and did Mead. Thankfully, someone in the comments section, Aussie Mario, pointed out, I think you've included the wrong guy. I was like, oh shit, I have. So I spoke to live chat, got it resolved. But for anyone who didn't read all the other things, yeah, sorry, I meant Richards. Anyway, so that was the Thursday, Friday nights. First game of the Saturday, missed by 1 leg. Colby McKercher, who I think was on 22 going into the last quarter. And I think he had 1 touch, maybe it was 2. 1 or 2 touches in the last quarter because what the fuck? Like, of course they're still playing with like role changes. I'm pretty sure he was taken out of the half back line and like a little bit up forward. Anyway, that one was super frustrating because I have been hesitant on Colby McKercher all year. I don't know if you guys listen to all these, but I was way more bullish on Caleb Daniel. Yes, I have Caleb Daniel and he hit 22, mind you, not 20. But Colby McKercher, I don't know, it took like 2 months for me to really sink in, like, okay, no, he can get 25 consistently, and then fucking that last quarter thrown somewhere else. So very unlucky. Otherwise, Josh Worrell hit, should have been All-Australian. Rory Laird, old, but still gets 20 plus posies, no worries. And Luke Parker, same deal. And they needed some old head in that midfield, so unsure what we'll do betting on him next year, but yeah, glad we got him this year. So that goes into bet 3. Now, this one is super unlucky because I'm pretty sure this game started... Wait, this one was 8.10. And this one was 120. I don't have a bonus bet for that one. Which I can't remember why. Anyway, so the Colby McKercher one missed... Oh, sorry, I'm looking at the wrong bets. So, sorry. So this one was 120. Oh, and this one started at 4:15. So the bonus bet wouldn't have ticked over to go to this one. So even though we got a win, I don't have the bonus bet written down, which means we didn't have enough time. And that means the Saturday night one was a miss, and that's why I had the bonus bet. Yeah, I'm following. Missed by 1, we got a bonus bet, but sometimes it takes like 20 minutes, half hour to actually go back into your account. So we couldn't put it on this one, which actually got up. Very unlucky, but Bailey Smith against Richmond, 30 posies. I thought it was just going to be an absolute cakewalk. Grindmeyers bouncing back after that miss against Sydney. Dion Prestia, like, I'm not that bullish. Some of the, like, you know, the old guys in a bottom team, I'm not as bullish on, but Dion Prestia, I think he had just like 1 miss, and it was for 18. Or it was the 1 miss for 20. Anyway, and against Geelong, I was a bit hesitant, but 29 posies, that was fantastic. Sam Banks, I was hesitant because Tyler Young was taking all the kick-outs. I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? Jaden Short was playing. Nick Vloston played for a little bit before he got injured. So to have Sam Banks get like 14 posies or something real low was a bit concerning, but bang, bounced back with 30, looked great. And Seth Campbell, some of these picks you might question, but Seth Campbell had his highest posie game against Geelong earlier in the year, and then he did it again. He had 19 posies. Like, these players we can capitalize on because the 10 plus bracket, the 12 plus, 14, all these other new posie brackets, it just really helps have a bigger playing field because there's more players to choose from. So that is fantastic. So that one hit, which is great. Unfortunately, Brodie Grundy, who I thought was going to be an All-Australian ruckman, he was quiet against Brisbane before the concussion. Had the week off, and then he came back against Matty Flynn, West Coast, where he just was... This was the Brodie Grundy from earlier in the year. So Max Gawn to make All-Australian seems to be the better pick now after this, but I expect Brodie Grundy to just absolutely pump a Matt Flynn, you know, like a bottom 4 ruckman, like, no offense, but yeah, just he looked like a write-off from like the first quarter. I was like, fuck, there's no way he's hitting. So I thought coming back he was going to be an absolute shoo-in, but not to be. Everyone else looked great. Baker, Heaney, Mills. Oh, Blakey was close, but I did like how we included Blakey and Mills, 2 half-backers. Usually that's not great against the bottom side, but they were getting a lot of the footy anyway, so just unlucky about Brodie Grundy. So then we take the bonus bet from Saturday night, and then Sunday misses by 1 posie by Connor Iden. This could have been such a huge weekend. As you can see, like, look here, Colby McKercher misses by 2 posies. Grundy misses by a lot. Connor Iden misses by 1. Ed Richards missed by 1. There's 3 players that missed by a total of 4 posies. So unlucky. Connor Iden, he's one of my favorite players. Like, he is so consistent. He has a bad game, he's getting 13 or 14. So, I mean, it just so happens he got 14 here. I can't remember if this was the quarter. I think he got a 0 posie 4th quarter in this one. I mean, it happens. It can happen. It's very frustrating because you think, oh, he's home. It's all done. But it's the same with like the bet starting shit early. One of my little pet peeves is like everyone's like panicking, like, oh, someone hasn't got a touch and it's been like 10 minutes. So it's like, oh, this person's behind. The bet's fucking down the toilet. I think like the Brisbane game was a really good example. Brisbane Hawthorn, that game looked shit at the start because Cam Rayner didn't have a touch in the first quarter. And then that bet hits pretty comfortably. And then this bet started off great and then misses. So the game is like 2.5 hours. You don't have to be like panicking the whole way through. Just, you know, watch it, and if it's at the end of the game and it hits, great. If it misses, unlucky. But anyway, so Connor Iden, I think, yeah, I've always backed Connor Iden unless something crazy changes. Then the doggies, Freo, the Guts Up Cup. This one was a bit of a lackluster one in the end. It started out great, but very one-sided to Freo. The score at the end looks very generous to doggies, but yeah, Freo probably should have won by like 40, 50 points in this one. Ed Richards, too little too late. He was like there. He was always just a little bit behind at each quarter, at each break. I thought he could hit, and yeah, Bontempelli looked to be the star, especially when the team's on the line. You have your A grader, your jet. He's the one who's going to, yeah, try and carry your team over the line. So it was a little bit annoying seeing Ed Richards just fall short. Everyone else I was super chuffed about. Luke Ryan, I think he's had one miss all year. Libba, hard nut. He's the one getting all the contested footy. Murphy Reed, the first year player, hasn't been subbed at all this year. Freo want games into him. He can turn a game. That run and carry and that goal he did, that was fantastic. I think he did like a give and go and then kept running, slotted that. Yeah, it was fantastic. Shai Bolton, there's so many, it's really annoying because a lot of these calls that I'll do, like so many good picks, right? Like I don't know how many players we picked. Just say there's 10 games and just say we have five players per slip. I'm picking 50 players, right? 50 players. I'm saying 10 games because there were 10 games this round. Let's say there's 45 or 50 players because sometimes I'll do a 6-leg slip. Anyway, 45 to 50 players that I'm picking every week, and like 4 fail, 5 fail. You have to pick a lot right to like consistently make money out of this. Well, the point I was going is with Shai Bolton. So I picked that one right. He had a stinker the week before. He had like 9 posies or 8, something really low, but it happened earlier in the year where he bounces back hard after a shit game. And, you know, game on the line, Freo needed to make it. Yeah, Shai Bolton bounced back. So it was great to make those good calls. And then, yeah, it sucks that Richards misses by 1. But because the first game of the Sunday and then the second game of the Sunday overlapped, we couldn't put the bonus bet for this one, which started at 12:20. We couldn't put it on the 3 o'clock game because it hadn't carried over. So that means we have 2 bonus bets in our pocket right now going into the Sunday night game, which is Brisbane versus Hawthorn. So the 2 bonus bets from the GWS and the St Kilda game, and then the Doggies and Freo. So this was a freaking huge way to end the week. The original bet got up and all the bonus bets to follow along with it. Like, yeah, great way. Well, this was technically sort of ending the round. Well, this was what felt like ending the round, but technically it was the Gold Coast Essendon game to follow up, which I haven't got a picture of. I'll update that, but I have counted it to the loss. It was Sam Durham. Anyway, the point is this game, Cam Rayner started so quiet, but for like the last month, he is having very big second halves, so I wasn't too worried. Darcy Wilmot looked fantastic. He has had a great second half to the year. Connor Nash, I don't really notice, I guess, well, especially when I'm looking out for the Lions players, but getting a lot of it there on ball. Jasper Fletcher, he has had like 1 miss in the half-back line this whole year, and it was his first game in the half-back line, so he has been fantastic for 18. And Dane Zorko, 300. Oh, was it 300 or 350? I'm pretty sure it was 300 because he started late in his career. So anyway, milestone man. That was huge. 22 posies. Yeah, that was great. Great way to end the round. I don't have a photo of the slip for the Gold Coast Essendon game, but I did take $50 off here, and I've got Sam Durham down here, who's the culprit who missed. I can't be bothered adding that. Let's go straight into the tips, actually, because that's what we're all here for. So let me change screens to Geelong versus Brisbane, the qualifying final tonight. I cannot wait for this one. I am so excited. This one, again, so there's a lot of good players to choose from. And if I show you real quick what I was looking at, this took me, I kid you not, like almost 2 hours plus to figure out. Look at all the bets, look at all the players, not bets, sorry. Look at all the players that we had to choose from. There is a lot of good options, right? So then it's trying to cull all that down and figure out who, you know, get the cream, separate the chaff from the wheat. But all these players are like really good, so it's hard. So it does take a while. And that's why sometimes when there's a lot of good odds, it's actually way harder than when there's not many good odds, because you're kind of forced to pick a couple in a shit game. But when there's a lot of good options, you've got to make sure you're trying to pick them right. So anyway, this is what we're left with. And I've also added a yearly hit rate column. So I think it's great going into the finals, remembering how these players have played throughout the whole year. Consistency is like my favorite thing. I may sometimes include burst, like form, plays in good form running up to the finals, or any week. I'll include players with good form, because this form guide is very objective base. It's very stats, black and white, but I watch all the footy as well, so that subjective opinion knowledge definitely takes a part. Anyway, the yearly column hit rate is fantastic. 87% for Tom Atkins, 100% for Jared Berry. That's excluding his sub game where he got knocked out against North or West Coast. 90% for Grind Myers, 91 for Dunkley, Zorko, and Ashcroft. And I'll explain why I picked them. Tom Atkins is 20 of 23 for the year, 87% hit rate. One of those misses was against Brisbane earlier on in the year, round 3, but he also scored 21 against them the last time they played. He averages the most CBAs, tied with Bailey Smith. He's the tackling machine. I think he broke the record for tackles. He beat, was it Scooter Selwood's record? Anyway, so he's tied with Bailey Smith. Geelong won him at the CBAs, not necessarily for his ball getting ability, but for his two-way, very similar to Josh Dunkley. He gets the footy, lays tackles, great utility in there. So he's going to be around the stoppages a lot. I think he'll be a strong presence, and he's always close. 16 posies for someone playing on ball like that, I think is a great, is a very achievable. Not to mention he's 10 out of 10, averaging 4.6 more than what we need to. I think he is absolutely great value. Jared Berry hasn't missed 16 posies all year. So it was the North Melbourne game where he got concussed. So I think he's one of the better wingmans in the comp. He'll get straight back into it after the shoulder injury. I expect him to play the whole game. I don't expect any hiccups. He's good to go. He's always got his shoulder strapped, so I know the shoulder sort of popped out, but Jared Berry, tough as nails. I think he just comes back, plays his role. There's no piss farting around, because I'm almost positive he could have played the following week, but there's no need against Hawthorn. I mean, we kind of needed to win to get top 4, but we didn't play Lachie Neale and Jared Berry, even though they could have. So I think Jared Berry is good to go the whole game. Grind Myers is 18 for the year. 18 out of 20 for the year with a 90% hit rate. One of the misses was a 15 posse game against Brisbane at GMHBA Stadium, which I was at, which was fantastic for Lions fans. But a lot of the Geelong players had stinkers. That's where Brisbane came down, just surprised them. It was Danger's 350th. And Brisbane came down and just played fast tempo, one side of the ground to the other, no mucking around. Handball receives, give it to a runner. So they really just came out the gates and gave Geelong a bit of a startle. So a lot of Geelong players missed. So if Grind Myers has missed twice this year, one of those was against Brisbane Lions where they came down and pantsed them. I'm fine with that. Also, Grind Myers did hit in round 3 and got 22 posies earlier in the year. So that's why I'm not that worried about the miss, because I know he can do it. He's done it before. So I think Grind Myers is a great chance. He has really stepped up for Geelong. Yes, he'll be playing mostly sort of like on the wing, or also starting half forward, coming around ball. They need him. He can go 5 minutes and get 5 posies. He can go 15 minutes and get no posies, but Grind Myers can get it quick. He's a great kick, and yeah, they'll need him for his inside 50s. So Grind Myers, I think, is a great selection. Josh Dunkley. Very bullish on him for 22. Yes, I know Lachie Neale is back. And so Josh Dunkley's last month has been, you could argue and say it's a little bit inflated. But Josh Dunkley, he scored 26 and 30 posies against Brisbane, against Geelong this year. He also had 28 in the prelim. So he's already like averaging 28 posies against Geelong in his last 3 encounters. I really think he'll star in the mid, and he's very lucky not to be All-Australian. But I think McCluggage is the one who's going to cop attention. All-Australian mid, he's the most damaging. Or it's going to go to Lachie Neale, who Geelong have tagged a lot in the past. So they're either going to go with something that's not broken and tag Lachie Neale, or they're going to tag Brisbane's most damaging mid in Hugh McCluggage. It's my guess. Josh Dunkley will play, I think, a stoppage role presence on Max Holmes. I mean, if Max Holmes is starting on half back or whatever, it'll be on Bailey Smith, but I think he'll be on Holmes. And Josh Dunkley never does like hard tags. He just has a body at stoppages. So I think Josh Dunkley is completely fine for getting the footy. Not to mention he's only had 2 misses for the whole year for 20 plus. I think he's a great chance. Those misses were, there you go, 19 and 17 posies. I think he's a great chance. Dane Zorko, also 91% of the year with 2 misses. Those 2 misses have just come in the back end of the year, which is a bit unlucky, but he scored 28 and 33 posies against Geelong and had 32 in the prelim. So exactly like Josh Dunkley, Dane Zorko has had very big games against Geelong, which I love. So I think he is like primed for it. My only concern, I have the slightest concern. So I was thinking about Geelong have brought the tag back recently, and they went a period with no tags. A lot of the teams did. GWS, St Kilda, Geelong, they all stopped tagging. Geelong have brought it back in the last couple of games. I can't remember who they tagged. Geelong, it was like 3 weeks ago. Geelong played Sydney, and they had, that was O'Connor on Heaney, where Heaney was getting frustrated. And then probably what really solidified it was Geelong versus Richmond the following week. Walk in the park for them, right? But they still tagged Tim Taranto. So that just shows to me that that's what they're going to go in with for the finals. They're going to go in with a tag. So my point is, why I'm speaking about this when I'm chatting about Dane Zorko, is Dane Zorko has just teared them a new one every time. He is so damaging up from half back. He is like the slingshot. He is starting that chain. So I think someone's going to go to McCluggage, but you can't have two taggers in the mid. You need someone attacking. So if they're putting like O'Connor on Hugh McCluggage or Lachie Neale, whatever, you can't have Mullen in there tagging Neale or Ashcroft, or you can't have two taggers in there. So I think the other tagger will most likely go to Zorko. I've included him though because he has had huge games in the past, and he takes the majority of the kickouts. So even still, if he's getting at some bit of attention, he took, it was like 11 kickouts or something in the Geelong game earlier this year. He's getting half his posies in the kickouts. If he's not taking them and will not take some, he's also a great chance for a kick-out receive. He's really good for handball receives as well. So he doesn't have to worry about getting the hard footy. The footy will come to him because he's such an elite kick. So that's my reason for Dane Zorko. Will Ashcroft, 21 of 23 for the year. So this is 22 posies, not 25. We're asking for 22. He's a 91% hit rate. He's 2 cents off like my favorite price bracket. It's the same with Dunkley. But my point is with the tags. So I do think it'll go to McCluggage or Neale, which I've spoken about. He has had 2 misses, and both of those misses came earlier in the year. They were against Sydney in round 1, and then Collingwood in round 6. So they happened in the first month of footy. Ever since then, he's getting 22 and 22 and more. So I think he's the least likely to get tagged in there. And against his last 2 games against Geelong, he got 33 and 28 posies. So you can kind of tell my train of thought for Dunkley, Zorko, and Ashcroft. All of them have popped off against Geelong because Lachie Neale is getting like 19 and 20 posies. He's getting tagged. I can't remember what Hugh McCluggage got, but All-Australian selection. He's so damaged. Hugh McDamage, I think he's going to be getting tagged. So just keep that in mind. It's why I've gone those 6. We've gone 6 legs, $3.60, but I'm very confident in all of them. The players who are 8 out of 10, they've had huge games against Geelong in the past. So yeah. Anyway, I rambled on a lot about those selections because I've definitely given it a lot of thought. In the 10, we'll try and skim through the other ones, but I can definitely chat for a bit. Kai Lohmann for 10 posies is $1.46, which I think is pretty crazy. So he was 21 of 23 last year. I know that's last year, and that's excluding sub games. But he's had an injury-riddled year this year. He's 9 out of 10 if you exclude all the sub games. So yeah, if he's playing a full game, which I really think he will, because I think like Ty Gallop will be a strong chance of getting subbed. I think he might start on field as an extra forward, and then you might be taking, you put on Sam Marshall or someone like that. So the only reason Kai Lohmann will be getting subbed if he's having an absolute stinker or if he gets injured. Anyway, so that fear of having a stinker was just a little bit on my mind, but he had a great final series last year. So yeah, Kai Lohmann, I really like, and that is a great price. In the 12 posi bracket, we have Calamar Chi, Tyson Stengel, Lawson Humphreys. Out of these, I'm most bullish on Lawson Humphreys. He is 19 of 21 for the year, so he's going at a 90% hit rate. It's just a shame that those last 3 games, 2 of them are those only 2 misses that he's had throughout the year. So he's only averaging 11 posies in his last 3 games. which is the concerning point. So he's definitely slowed down a bit. So yeah, he's had 18 and 15 posies against Lions this year. So I think he can do it. But, you know, again, this is finals footy. So when I'm picking my players, I don't know. I just want the guns, the ones who are very consistent, like who are getting picked week in, week out, who aren't getting subbed. So I guess Lawson Humphreys being a tack sub 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, or was it against whoever it was against? He has been tack subbed and he's scoring pretty low. So for a regular home and away season, this is the pick like I would be very tempted to do, but for finals, it's just not quite getting me across the line. 14 posies, Sean Manor. He's had 2 misses for the year, and I can already tell you 2 of those misses, one was against Essendon, where he absolutely stunk it up and barely got it, which was crazy. Oh, actually, this is for 14. So that 14, I think he got 14 against Essendon. One of the miss was against Brisbane, though. And again, I gave Grind Myers the benefit of the doubt, because that's when Brisbane came down to Geelong. Absolutely blew him out of the water. They just playing such fast, high-tempo footy. So he had 10 posies, but then the week after he had 20. Anyway, he's averaging 18.5. He's averaging almost 4.5 more than what we're asking him to. He's 1 cent off $1.20. I really like Sean Manor. Again, like there's a lot of players here I like. I'm just going to re-emphasize. You guys can see how many players that I had to pick from, or that we all have to pick from. It's just trying to cut it down. So a lot of good players I like. I couldn't make a valid argument for you not to include them, because I want to include a lot of these players. Another one that I want to include, Cam Rayner. He's going at 74% hit rate. So I should have all this percentage here so you guys can see it. I might do that with the, because I have these notes to the side that I often talk about, but might be something I do with the form guide next year. Anyway, so he has hit both times against Geelong, 15 and 19 posies. He also had an 18 in the prelim last year. He is the type of player who can go missing for a quarter and then get 10 posies in a quarter and change the game. This is finals footy. This is where this type of player will stand up. Yeah, Cam Rayner, very tempting. Very, very tempting. It's for 14 posies. We literally had an example of it last week. 0 posies in the first quarter, and then just flicked a switch and looked, can't remember how many got. Maybe it was only like 4 in the second, or was the third he had a lot. Anyway, his second halves are really, really big, so don't get too worried if he doesn't touch it. He will finish strong. Zach Guthrie, haven't been as bullish on this year because I know he can have stinkers, but 8 out of 10 recently, yeah, sure. Ollie Dempsey, I've highlighted there, but didn't really consider. Again, there is like a bar for these finals games. I want the players who I think can perform. So it's the players who have done it multiple times. Oh, you know, Ollie Dempsey probably played finals multiple times, but I kind of want the star players, unless there's really compelling evidence. Levi Ashcroft, Sean Manor, yeah, every chance. Cam Rayner, Zach Guthrie. Levi Ashcroft will most likely, again, just be playing wing, half forward. Berry's back. That doesn't impact him. Levi Ashcroft will still be playing on the wing. Yeah, I think, again, he's a chance. He's not damaging with the footy. He'll just get a lot of it. I think he also had that 23 posi game against Brisbane, from the top of my head. So anyway, I think Levi Ashcroft is a decent chance. Cameron and Zach Guthrie I've spoken about. Tom Atkins. So I'm going to whiz through the players that I've already picked. I want to do this as well. I want to bold the players, that I have picked, just to help remember who we've included in the slip. Levi Ashcroft. Grind Myers. Oh, another one who I really, really wanted to include was Jasper Fletcher. So Jasper Fletcher, I was going to put him in and take Zorko out. The only reason I get Zorko over the line for me, despite the tag concerns, this is all in my head, right? The tag concerns, this is how I would play against Brisbane. I would tag Zorko, but he gets a lot of it. He gets a lot of free footy, if you like, from kickouts and handball receives. I don't expect him to win it at stoppages. I think he makes a lot of space in Brisbane's backline. Fletcher, though, he has had 3 misses for the year. He's going at 87% hit rate. He's only had, with those 3 misses, 2 of them were when he was on the wing. And then the other one is when he first went into the half back line. Funnily enough, that was against Geelong and he had a real quiet one. But ever since that miss, and that was in round 3, he is just hitting. So When he played Geelong again, he had 23 posies in the back line at GMHBA Stadium in round 15. So yeah, ever since early on in the year, where he's just teetering around the wing, experimenting with halfback, ever since he's locked in, he is just hitting 18 posies. He had one miss. He had one miss since that round 3 game, sorry. So yeah, he had 16 posies there. Fletcher's only missed 3 times this year. One of those misses was against Geelong, but that was his first game starting halfback. Ever since then, he's only had 1 miss from that round 3 game. Yep, there you go. So I really like Jasper Fletcher. One of the most improved players. Tom Stewart, I haven't written anything down, but I think, yeah, great chance for 18 posies, very achievable for him, especially where he's, 21, 18, 25, 23 in his last month. Injury concern just plays on my mind. I think he has every chance to outplay like Logan Morris, Sam Day. I think he will thrive. It's just the intercept marking. Again, this is for finals. I think he'll definitely just choose to spoil over than like save the day with the heroics and the marking. But what helps Tom Stewart is kickouts. So I think he'll take a bunch there. 18 seems very achievable for him. Zach Bailey, since Brisbane's bye, he's only gone below 20 posies. Oh, he hasn't gone below 20 posies since the bye. He's made the All-Australian team. He looks fantastic. The last 2 games he played against Geelong, he only had 19 posies. So, he's just clearing it. I think, if I'm looking to go those burst players, it's kind of harsh to call Zach Bailey a burst player because he's playing a lot on the wing and around the ball. So, my point is, I would rather go Cam Rayner for 14 posies than Zach Bailey for 18. But Zach Bailey, having made All-Australian, he has popped off since Lachie Neale has stepped out, but Lachie Neale's coming back. I just think that hurts Zach Bailey. Any other time, I'm very bullish on him. And even with Lachie Neale on the team, he's still hitting. So I like Zach Bailey. It's just that concern that Brisbane's mid is pretty stacked at the moment. I just don't know if he'll be able to just take the piss He's not take the piss. He's been playing really well against the top teams. It's just, Zach Bailey for 18 in my mind. I still see Zach Bailey as like a 14, 15 posse player. So, he's made All-Australian. Maybe I'm just the one. Some players I'm late on comprehending just how much they've stepped up. So I like Zach Bailey. Darcy Wilmot, 14 of 23 for the year. So he's going at 60%, which is not that great. He's been in great form recently, but you're relying on him to pop off. I think 18 is a lot for him. I think that his average posse count for the year is 20. So he's not averaging much more. I kind of want someone with a bigger buffer. So you're expecting Wilmot to play above, have a really good game, which I think he can, but he had 16 posies on both occasions when he versed Geelong, so he's already missing there, and he had 20 posies, he got 16 posies. I'm reading my notes. He only had 16 posies on both occasions, and he only averages 20 for the year. I just got a typo. So his last 3 games are actually making his odds worse because he's going 27, 21, 27. He's having big games, which is great for him, but it's just, I can't really bet on that going into finals. Tom Atkins, Jared Berry I've spoken about. Same with Dorco. I was going to say Dorco. People made that mistake before. Zane Dorco. There was a thing on the bounce or something where people actually do that slip of the tongue more often than you think. Josh Dunkley, Dane Zorko spoken about. Here we go. So Will Ashcroft, I've also spoken about. McCluggage, on paper, he looks amazing. He's 9 out of 10, averaging 5.3 more than what we're asking, but he'll most likely cop the O'Connor tag. He's the most damaging lines midfielder. I think he'll be a strong candidate to cop that. I still think he's every chance to hit because we're only asking for 22. He's averaging 5 more than what we're asking. It's just how much attention he gets. And how much Brisbane can help him out with that. So anyway, I really like Hugh McCluggage. Max Holmes, I was very close to include as well. He had 20 posies in the prelim against Brisbane last year, and he only played 50% time on ground. He is going to be a huge reason for Geelong if they win. Him going down, I wrote here in my notes, him going down was a big reason they lost, so I think he'll be really damaging. He went 29 and 23 posies against Lions this year, so he hit in both of them. So yeah, he's only going 70% hit rate in total, but he's most likely, in my opinion, to be best on ground because he can hurt you very quick with his running ability. He can tear the game open. He hits targets. He can go into the half back line, take kickouts. They want him distributing the footy. Like Bailey Smith gets a lot of it. He's accumulator, handball receive. I don't think he's as damaging. Max Holmes is a problem. So in a good way, like he can really carve it up. So someone to watch out for. Anyway, I think Max Holmes is a strong chance to get 22 for Geelong's side of it. Lachie Neale I've spoken about, similar to McCluggage. I think he can cop a tag. It's his first game back in like a month plus 2. So naturally he scores low against Geelong and he's coming from a month off. I don't expect him to tear it up this game. Zorko, same. Oh, Josh Dunkley, same reason. I think it's the same. It's a slightly different note I have. I just said, strangely enough, I like Josh Dunkley the most because I feel like he's not going to cop any attention. He'll probably be on Smith or Holmes. He often gets a lot of footy himself. In his last 2 games, he had 26 and 30 posies. Yep, same note. Will Ashcroft, same deal. I got to speed. Sorry, I'm chatting for so long. Bailey Smith, I'm highlighting because his stats look good, but I don't think he'll be able to run around and have the freedom that he usually does in the home and away season. Not to mention a bunch of these games, Geelong have had the easiest run home, so they're against bottom 9 teams, not the top 9. So he had 25 and 28 posies against Lions earlier this year. So already he's not hitting 30 posies. So if he's not hitting 30 against Brisbane in the home and away season, I don't think there's much chance for the finals, but you never know. Finals, usually the top players stand up. And it also, actually, I don't know, I shouldn't be highlighting him. Like, 30 posies is like crazy, and it's in the finals. Like, we just saw it last night with Worrell and De Goey. They were the only 2 who got 26 posies. Ah, fuck, I'll highlight him, but I wouldn't be going him. 30 posies is a lot in the finals. Goal kickers, I'm not interested in at all, really, for the finals. There's far more better posi bracket players who are more consistent. Stengel, Bailey, Cameron. I mean, Cameron, sure, he kicked 4 goals in one of their meetings and 1 goal in another. I think Leicester will play on him and keep him accountable, but I mean, he's the Coleman medalist, the All-Australian captain. I think he is a strong chance, but again, I personally don't have any interest in goal scorers. If you do, go for it. Anyway, so that's the Geelong-Brisbane game. Let's move on to game 3. Oh, fuck, I'm so keen for this game. Like, please know how much like research I've done into this. I jumped online at I had the day off work. I jumped on at 9:45, and it's now almost 4 o'clock. I've been looking at fucking stats all day. So GWS versus Hawthorn, the elimination final on Saturday. We're going to have a quick look here, but again, let's just peel back the curtain. How many players we had to choose from. This is the whole finals footy conundrum. There is so many good players to pick from. It's just hard to narrow it down because which is great. I love how the bookies actually pay fair odds, but you just have you can't make up for it the week after if shit doesn't work. So anyway, a lot to pick from there. This is what we've narrowed it down to. You might think I'm crazy, but there's a couple of picks in here that you might question or think about, but Sam Taylor, he is going 95% this year. He is 18 of 19. Oh, I've got a big note about it. Let's just read through him. Sorry about this. He's coming off a miss too. So I love a player coming off a miss. I know key defenders aren't usually great to bet on. He has Lee Kalia there to help him. GWS are arguably the best team at switching the play and launching into attack from their defense. Not saying it's going to go through Taylor, but a posi here and there is just going to fall in his lap when you've got Lachie Ash, Whitfield, all trying to switch the play. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a free one in the chain. He also had a 16 posi game against Hawthorn earlier this year. So their tall forwards don't really worry me. If anything, I think some of them can go missing. Gunston's their best one. He'll probably play on Gunston or maybe Chol. I don't know. But I think Sam Taylor, it doesn't really bother me. Hawthorn's big stacked tall forwards. He's averaging 3.3 posies more than what we're asking. And this is the 10 plus posi bracket, mind you. This is not 3 posies more than 25. This is 3 posies more than 10. So he's averaging what, it's 33% or however 133 more than what we're asking. That's a lot of a buffer for such a small posi bracket. He also, Harris Andrews is a good example. Very similar roles. He had 18 posies against Hawthorn last week. And like I said, Sam Taylor had 16 posies against Hawthorn earlier in the year. And now here's the little final sprinkler. He usually has 100% time on ground. Since coming back from his injury, he's gone from high 80% time on ground to low 90% time on ground. So I think now for the finals, he's going to have to play like 97 or 100% time on ground. This is it. You're throwing everything out there. I think Sam Taylor is going to play pretty much the whole game. He's hit against Hawthorn in the past. Other key defensive forwards have hit against Hawthorn, so I think he's a great chance. One sec. I'm not editing this, can't be fucked. I'm just going to upload this raw. So I can't be fucked stopping and starting the recording. Anyway, very bullish on Sam Taylor. And if you think that was already a bit of a weird one, Xavier O'Halloran, 95% hit rate for the year. He's 18 out of 19. If you exclude the 3 sub games he had in round 4, 6, and 7. So this was all way earlier in the year, right? His only miss was against Hawthorn in round 3, but that was right before all the sub games. So earlier in the year, he's not hitting, he's getting subbed. Once he started playing full games from round 8 onwards, he has averaged 17 posies per game. That is huge. And so I know Josh Kelly is back, but O'Halloran was averaging 18 posies with Kelly and 16 without. So he's actually averaging 2 posies more with Kelly in the side. So that stat shows that playing with Kelly helps him. This is also from round 8 onwards, mind you. So again, we're just excluding the subbed games and the games where he's not getting like full minutes or playing well. Not playing well. We're going from round 8 onwards because there's a bit of, I'll usually include the tax subs, but because this has happened like ages on in the year, like his form of late is not this, what he was playing earlier in the year, or even last year, mind you. So yeah, across his last 2 months, he's averaging 60% CBAs, which is 3rd behind Green and Callahan. He's tied with Cornelio, but the point is, he is tied 3rd for GWS's CBAs over the last 2 months. They want him around the ball there. And Kelly, he's been playing on the wing. Kelly's fully pushed out and he's coming back from injury. So this just, this just screams like, yeah, O'Halloran, it's just a great pick. 10 out of 10. He's averaging 5.5 more posies than the 12 posie bracket. Like, I just can't say no to these. It's crazy. Like, I want to go the guns, right? I want to go like a Finn Callahan or a Lockie Whitfield. They're just presenting too much value. And especially the buffer. I love someone coming off 1 miss. It's his only miss for the year in Sam Taylor. O'Halloran, who has had a monster run since he has stopped getting the vest. Yeah, anyway, I really like that. Josh Battle. So, you know, being picked in the All-Australian, we're asking for 14 here, not 15, not 16. He is 21 of 23 for the year. He has a 90% hit rate. His 2 misses this year have both been 13 posies. So he is always close. He did have a 13 posie game against GWS, but that was round 3 this year. And that's the only time they played GWS. So I'm more than happy to give him the benefit of the doubt by missing 1 posie in round 3. He's All-Australian. I think he's going to step up. I know Weddle's back, but I think that more impacts like Giath, or I know Giath plays on the wing, but I know his posies have gone up. But Battle's still hitting with Weddle on the side. It probably impacts like a Sicily. Sicily's in good form. I don't think it affects Battle. Probably be more like Barris or Scrimshaw then. Anyway, who knows how much game time Weddle's getting anyway. Connor Iden, 21 of 23 this year. 90% hit rate for 14 plus, which is huge. So yes, he's cooled off a little bit with his last 2 games being 14 posies, but he is consistent as they come. I've been on him for years. If he does miss, it's by like 1 posie. He's not dropping off and having like an 8 posie game. That's why these 14s don't really worry me as much, because I know he gets anywhere between 14 and 18 posies. He's nice and consistent. Yes, there's a couple 23 posies in there. I don't expect those. I do expect mid to high teens from Connor Iden. So I think he's a great chance. His 2 misses have been 13 and 12 posies, so he's always close. Really like Connor Iden. And then the last one, Jarman Impey, going at 62% hit rate for the year, which is not great, but it's crazy. He's 13 of 21 for the year. 62% hit rate, which isn't great, but 7 of those misses were from round 1 to 12. That's the first half of the year. Now, if we look at 13 onwards to the finals, he's only missed once by 1 posie. He is absolutely just a complete contrast to what he was to the start of the year, because I've always seen Jarman Impey as someone 13, 15 posies, whatever. I don't know, since maybe he had his kid, he has just popped off. So, like I said, he's had 1 miss from round 13 onwards by 1 posie. So that, to me, trumps like the 62% year hit rate. It's similar to O'Halloran. His misses and sub games are happening earlier in the year, which is, you know, this is like March, April territory now. We're in September, so it's however many months ago. Jarman Impey having a huge run. This is someone who's in great form, averaging 5.5 more than what we're asking. Like, I can't ask any more than that. It's huge. Anyway, Sam Taylor we've spoken about. I'm just going to bold him because he's in the bet. O'Halloran, I'm bolding. Jath, I was very close to including. He's 14 of 15 for the year. He's at 93% hit rate. If you exclude those 2 sub games that he had earlier in the year, his only miss was against Freo. It was 9 posies, not great. But he had 14 posies against GWS earlier in the year. He's averaging 80% game time. So not much of a worry with Weddle coming back. I still think he'll get enough. So he's still getting enough posies with not like the best game time. Well, 80% is probably pretty good. But yeah, I think Jath has a strong chance. I like him better than Hardwick or Jones. I need to fly through this. It's like 4 o'clock. I need to head off at 5. Well, I need to be somewhere at 5. Anyway, Josh Battle, who I've mentioned, who are betting on, Connor Iden, Toby Green. I think he's the type of player to stand up. He probably wants GWS to win more than anyone. I feel kind of bad for him if they lose and get knocked out. So I hope they make it for Toby Green's sake. I hope he has a great game, but I don't want to sort of bet on someone for like hope. I want to bet on someone for how their consistent form. O'Halloran, who I have spoken about, but we bet on him for 12. Like, you can bet on him for 14 and get good value. Like 12, that's crazy. 15 and 16 posi bracket. We didn't do any 15s, but I was very tempted on Massimo D'Ambrosio. I like Connor Nash. Connor Nash is 15 out of 18 for the year, which is an 83% hit rate. If you exclude his injury game, he had 17 posies against GWS earlier in the year. I think he's every chance. Again, someone who just slightly misses out because there's just so many other good options to pick from. Battle, I like. Iden, I like, as I've said. Jack Ginnivan, he was also someone I was insanely tempted to pick. It was down between, for me, him or Impey, because like Impey, Jack Ginnivan also had a very slow start to the year for his first 5 games. He averaged 13 posies in his first 5 games. Since round 7 onwards, he's averaged 21 posies per game. He's only missed to Adelaide and Brisbane since then, like 1st and 3rd on the ladder. He did have 12 posies against GWS, but that was round 3 earlier in the year before his numbers just went through the roof. I think he's a great chance, and he's had his moment against Brisbane. Also, he missed to Adelaide and Brisbane. That Brisbane game was earlier in the year. The one that happened like 2 weeks ago, I think it was his last game. He had 23 posies. So yeah, the point is he missed earlier in the year against the top team, and he's come back and hit 23 posies against the Lions at the Gabba. I think Jack Ginnivan is, that is very good stats. 9 out of 10, 4.6. He's 1 game off being 10 out of 10. He's $1.20. Like here, let me look. I was comparing between Impey and Ginnivan. They've both had really good back ends to the year. Like, I would almost include. It's very tempting. Very tempting. Harry Himmelberg, similar. He's had a better back quarter to the year. Now he's in the back line. So the 6 out of 10 is a bit misleading, but now he's back. He's not doing any wing roll experiment bullshit. He's back playing where he needs to be in the back line and looking strong. Massimo D'Ambrosio, 17 of 23 for the year, 74% hit rate. There are better percentage hit rate players at the moment to choose from. So again, if this was a regular season game and we weren't finding those odds, I would pick Ambrosio. He hadn't had a missed from, Ambrosio hadn't missed from round 11 onwards, but then he finished the year with a miss at against the Lions at the Gabba. So I think he's every chance to hit, even though he has to travel to GWS. He did have 13 posies against GWS last time, so there are a couple little concerning factors there. Like if he has 11 at the Gabba and then has to travel again, it's like, I don't know. I want the players who are in just raring hot form. So I like Ambrosio, but just, yeah, there's other players to pick from. Connor Nash and Josh Ward I both like. I keep looking at the time, sorry. Jarman Impey, who I spoke about, who I'm actually betting on to include. James Sicily, someone I actually haven't written any notes down, so I'm not sure how they're tracking for the year. But James Sicily, as you guys would know, since he had that month or so off because of a sore hip or whatever the fuck was going on, so he has just hit the ground running. This is for 18 posies, mind you, not 20. He took like 4, he'll take, 3, 4, 5 kickouts. He, the captain, the leader down there, and he's definitely having a really good finish to the year. So I like James Sicily a lot, even though he's only averaging 1 more posie than the bracket. It's because there's like a 6 in his system. Yeah, I like Sicily. Jack Inovan, who I'm also bullish on, Connor Nash, same type players keep popping up. Also, what helps me want to bet on players is when I'm highlighting them for like other brackets. If I have to highlight a player 3 times, I'm very tempted to include, because if I highlight Sicily for once, right? Like I'm not betting on Sicily for $1.14. I could bet on him for $1.35, but I'm not betting on him for $1.68 for 5 out of 10. You know what I mean? So if I'm looking at like Jarman Impey, I'd bet on him for 20. I would bet on him for 18. Oh, actually, he drops off. But there's been like Connor Nash, for example. I've highlighted him 3 times. Yeah, anyway. Same with Josh Battle. Anyway, I like the players whose names keep popping up and presenting value. Carl Amon, I was very bullish on him at the start of the year. He's finishing the year really strong too. He got like, what was it, a kilometre meters gained against Brisbane. He's 1 game off being 9 out of 10. I really like Carl Amon. I think just in the middle of the year where he was having a little bit of a hit or miss patch threw me off, and I haven't jumped back on him since, but I don't blame you. It's just hard when Jarman Impey is getting a fuck ton of it back there. So as long as I don't throw him up forward or whatever, I like Jarman Impey. Finn Callahan, Lockie Ash, for 22, both have a really good hit rate. Finn Callahan is 18 out of 20 for the year, which is a 90% hit rate. He's only had 2 misses for the year, and they've both been 21 posi games, so very close. Unfortunately, one of those misses was against Hawthorn, but that's when they tagged with Finn McGuinness in that windy, crazy game in Tassie. So there's no Finn McGuinness in the game for tomorrow. Maybe Connor Nash has a small role with him, but yeah, I think Finn Callahan can go strong. It's just after watching Dacos and Dawson, I'm kind of just a little bit hesitant on some of the, I don't know, some players to get a certain bracket. I'm more bullish on others, like Will Ashcroft. He gets a lot more footy. Finn Callahan's more damaging. I don't know. I like them both. It's just hard. I think what also makes it harder is there's other players I like in smaller posi brackets. Anyway, Tom Green, Lockie Whitfield. I really like both of them. Lockie Whitfield has had 2 misses all year. Both have been 24, so very similar to Finn Callahan, where he's only missing by 1 posi. And last time Lockie Whitfield played Hawthorn, he had 34 posies, which was a huge game. Absolutely loved it. I just missed speaking about Lockie Ash, sorry. So he's an 87% hit rate. He has had 2 stinkers in his last 5 games. And one of his other misses was a 19 posi game. So I think, he's an accumulator. He's a machine back there. I just think the 2 stinkers in his last month and a half put me off too much. If he didn't have 2 13 games in the space of 3 weeks, I know there's 36 and like, I like Lockie Ash. This is for 22, mind you. It's just having 2 low teen posi games for someone who I'm expecting to get almost 30 posies is just concerning for the moment. So that's why I've gone other options. Tom Green, Bull, he'll get a bunch of it. I like him. I'd like someone who's averaging a bit more than 2.4 in their posi bracket. But yeah, I don't have anything. I don't blame you. I'm highlighting all these players because I'm very tempted to bet on them myself. So I like Tom Green, just others beat him. 30 posi bracket, I'm not even tempted by any of them. Goal scorers, there's a lot to choose from. But I said it in the last one, I'm just not that keen on any goal scorers for the final series. I think I would I'd rather watch someone slowly accumulate the footy. Nick Watson, Jake Stringer. Jake Stringer, the package, this is where you expect him to deliver. He can have quiet games, but huge moments, and those huge moments often involve like a goal or two. I mean, look, he's 9 out of 10 as well. At $1.30, he's averaging 2.2 goal. Fuck, I do really like Stringer. I think just the goal scorers is putting me off, but there's no one I would take out really instead. I like who I bet. I mean, maybe I'd take out Jarman Impey. Jarman Impey's back half of the year has been amazing, but Jake Stringer for a goal is kind of tempting me at the moment. Jack Gunston for 2 goals, All-Australian forward. Yeah, I think he can do it, even though he's still old as. Yeah, what the fuck? He's averaging 3.6 goals a game. Aaron Cadman, Jesse Hogan is back, so just keep that in mind. So, I mean, stats are there, but a lot of those games without Hogan, so yeah, just keep that in mind. He's coming off a miss. Not quite enough to get me over the line. Jake Stringer is the one tempting me the most there. So yes, I see Dylan Moore, Bedford. Nick Watson is 1 cent off being a great price. I think he's a chance to hit. But yeah, the package, something just screams to me that he'll have a stinker and then kick 2. And then, you know, the selection for him is worthy. You know what I mean? Anyway, moving on to the last game, game 4. God, my throat is getting a bit sore. I've been yapping. We have Fremantle versus Gold Coast. 7:30 at Perth, Optus Stadium. There is, again, a bunch of players to pick from here. This is insane. But again, if you've been betting long enough, you know this is how finals work. It's great you get actually good odds, but, you know, the intensity, this is not your regular home and away season bullshit where you can run around, gallop, just get free touches willy-nilly. This is, you're going to get tackled instantly. You don't have time to fuck around. So this is who we've narrowed it down to. I noticed when I was doing the bet, I was like, I've gone like all the half-backers except Took Miller, but I do like, I like it. I don't know. These players have been consistent all year. If anyone, I think the half-backers are going to be the least impacted with these finals. They're going to get it a lot. Kickouts, there's going to be moments where they do need to slow the play. But yeah, I like the half-backers. Luke Ryan and Jordan Clark for Freo's halfback. Dan Rioli and John Noble for Gold Coast, and then Took Miller on ball. So look at their yearly percent. Took Miller hasn't missed all year. If you exclude his injury game, which I can't remember who it was against. Dan Rioli, he's 16 out of 17 for the year, 94% hit rate. His only miss was against Richmond in round 6 against his former side. So also in his first game back, he played roughly 10 to 15% less. So he had really reduced minutes, and he got 17 posies. His minutes are only going to go up. Dimmer loves Dan Rioli. He's very damaging off the halfback line. I think, yeah, he is a good candidate to get 16. We're asking for Dan Rioli. Luke Ryan, 96%, 22 of 23. 96% hit rate. What the fuck are we doing? He's only had 1 miss all year, and it was a 15 posi game against West Coast, against the bottom of the ladder, 1 game winner, West Coast. All halfbackers, a lot of backmen have quiet games against the bottom teams because the ball's not down there as much. So yeah, his lowest posi games have been against West Coast. His lowest posi games have been against West Coast, Richmond, Melbourne, Carlton, Port. You can see the theme. They're all like the bottom teams. So Luke Ryan in elimination final, I think 16 is an absolute walk in the park. Took Rioli, I spoke about. Miller, Noble, I don't have a note for him actually. Maybe I do further down, but just from the top of my head, I know he had a stinker against Geelong where he had like 13 posies, and he's had 2 misses earlier in the year, which were 8. No, sorry, the 13. I'm looking at Jordan Clark. John Noble's stinker against Geelong is out of his system, but he had an 18 and a 19 posi miss. So otherwise, he's always close. I can forgive the bad game at GMHBA. So yeah, John Noble I really like. Jordan Clark having a great year. Did he make? I'm pretty sure he made All Australian. Did he not? I can't remember. Anyway, fuck. Now I want to check that. I don't have Jono here to fill me in with with the silence, or he can look at the team while I'm chatting, or he'll know off the top of his head. Wangani, Miller, Andrews, Dale, Clark. He did. Yeah, there you go. Nice. Point is, I like Jordan Clark, averaging 25 posies over his last 10 game, and that's including this 13 posi game where he got tagged against Sydney. So Jordan Clark, yeah, I really like. We're gonna fly through this because there's I mean, not as many to pick from early. No one in the 10 posi bracket I like. 12, we have Luke Jackson, Bailey Humphrey, Murphy Reed, Carl Warner. I really like Luke Jackson, but he's $1.14, just too short. But for 12 posies, I mean, that's huge. He's playing a lot on ruck, on ball. Sean Darcy's in the team, so it doesn't really bother me. I think he's still a good chance. But yeah, just not quite enough value. And his last 2 games have been pretty quiet, so if he's $1.14 and he's just hitting recently, yeah. Bailey Humphrey can be damaging. He can help go in the midfield, be that spark player for Gold Coast. I like. Same with Murphy Reed for Freo. Both of them very tempting, averaging 3 more than what they need. I've been bullish on Murphy Reed for like almost 2 months now. Yeah, again, there's players who I really want to include. I don't have a bad reason not to include them. It's just these players are trumping them at the moment. Like, their odds and form is crazy. I mean, so are them, but averaging 3 more than their bracket when I can average 5 or 7 more than their bracket, it's wild. So Murphy Reed, Humphrey I like. Carl Warner, very consistent. I haven't got a note, but I think he's only missed like 3 or 4 times this year, which is still, I mean, it's not nothing. But 10 out of 10 in these last couple of games, very consistent. His highest posi game there is 18, but otherwise 12, 16, 12, 15. Just a nice, small, consistent range is great to see. Probably get a bunch of it in the back line there. No Corey Wagner. Yeah, no, nice. 14, Shai Bolton. I was happy that we got him last week for the bounce back game, because I've said it before, if he has a real stinker the game before, he bounces back hard the following week. So last week was the point to bet on him, is what I'm getting at. I wouldn't take him this week unless he was worth a bit more. Alex Davies, playing well in the Gold Coast mid. Yeah, again, just I don't have enough. I haven't watched him enough, but I mean, he's just teetering along. In his last couple of games, just averaging around 14, 15 posies. So I want some a bit more of a buffer, because a lot of these stats are from last year. Nat Fife, that's crazy to me, but I don't know if he'll play a full game. If he does, I don't think he'll have. Maybe. I hope he does. I want to see more Nat Fife. But anyway, just someone I'm not even considering, because he takes like half an hour to warm up as the sub. So we'll see what happens there. Joel Jeffrey, he was quiet and then tack subbed 2 weeks ago against someone I can't remember. I think it was Port or something. Oh, it was Port. Bang, there you go. And then he bounced back against Essendon with 20 posies. I like Joel Jeffrey. I really like him. He's probably the next in the slip here. I'd prefer Dan Rioli at the moment, because he wasn't tax subbed. I think Dimmer likes Dan Rioli more, and Dan Rioli's minutes are only going up, whereas Joel Jeffrey's would be, kind of going the other way. But I do like Joel Jeffrey. Really like him. Stats are huge. Bodie Hewland, same deal. I was kind of fretting on him when we picked him against Essendon, but I expect Bodie Hewland to do his role. Bodie Hewland is not an accumulator. He's just beating you in the contest if he's getting the posi, or he's being a kick-out receiver. So I like Hewland, but yeah, only averaging 2 more than what we need. If it was for 12 posies, I would be very tempted. 15, we get more to choose from. Luke Ryan and Dan Rioli start to make an appearance. Oh, see, this is what I mean before. You know how I said I like betting on players who have multiple appearances? I could bet on Luke Ryan here for 15. I am betting him for 16 here. I could also bet on him for 18. Could I do 20? Oh, not quite. But you know what I mean? Like, there's 3 opportunities where you could easily mount the case to bet on Luke Ryan. Anyway, back to the 15 posi bracket. Sam Flanders, I don't know. He's fallen off this year. Dimmer doesn't like him. I don't know what his role is or where he'll be playing. It can change. He'll either be a sub, or then he'll come out, help on ball, play in the half forward line. Sure. I mean, the stats are great there. I just think this hasn't been Sam Flanders' year, and I don't want to be betting on him for finals. Will Powell, I was put off when Dan Rioli came back in the side, but he looks great. 23 posies against Essendon, so his posies went up the most when Dan Rioli went out. Dan Rioli was back, and he still kept hitting, so that's great to see. Neil Erasmus, fantastic for the wing, but I'm pretty sure Nathan O'Driscoll is back, and Corey Wagner and Sam Switkowski are out. So point is, you've got O'Meara and Erasmus who will be playing wings. O'Meara will probably be coming on ball, but then you've also got Hayden Young and Fife. So anyway, O'Driscoll is back, and he and Erasmus, or he and O'Meara will be playing on the wing. So I like him, but just you can see I'm already umming and ahhing. So I like a player who I'm very hesitant, very firm on straight away. Joel Jeffrey I like here too. Don't get me wrong, I'm very close to backing him. For 18 plus, we have Luke Ryan. Oh, let me highlight them. No, this is 16, sorry. Luke Ryan and Dan Rioli. Sorry, I don't mean to be scrolling all over the place. I've spoken about them. Same with these guys, similar deal. If you can get them, if you like them for 15, they're great odds and value for 16 plus. 18, Fiorini, who I've been very bullish on. I like Fiorini. David Swallow's listed. I don't know how much minutes he'll play. It's kind of more of a courtesy thing, I guess, before he finishes it up. But Fiorini's been getting a bunch of it on the wing. I don't expect him to play any, he'll help around on ball, around stoppages, right? But Fiorini gets, no CBAs. Yeah, he's got no CBAs in the last 2 weeks. But I know that going in, he's just a high accumulator for a midfield, for a winger. So yeah, I like that. I mean, his stats look great. It's all greens. He's 1 game off 9 out of 10. I like Fiorini there too. Anyway, I like the halfbackers that were picked and then took Miller. So, I mean, Brayshaw, I was very tempted to include. 20 of 23 for the year. He's an 87% hit rate. He's had 3 misses and they've been 18, 19, 19 posies. Always close. He had 30 possessions against Gold Coast in round 12. Gold Coast don't tag. So he's coming off a miss, and it was by 1 posie, mind you, for his 3rd miss of the year. I think he's a great chance to hit. This is the only time you're going to get Brayshaw for $1.20. He's 1 cent off being one of the favorite price. Oh, very tempted for Brayshaw. I think Touk Miller just got me over the line because Touk Miller is 100% hit rate. Brayshaw is 87%. So, I mean, that solves that. But yeah, I like Brayshaw there. John Noble, Clark, we've already spoken about. Oh, which we're actually betting on for all these guys for the 20 plus. Who was the last one? 1, 2. Oh, it's just those 5. Nice. So let's go back down to 22. Matt Rowell, I like, but just too short. He absolutely took the piss against Essendon. I don't know if he'll take the piss against Freo, especially with Young, Sarong. Brayshaw, yes, I think Matty Rowell will poll well in the Brownlow and have a good game. Just too short. I'm not betting on him for 25. And yeah, 22, I would need better odds. Brayshaw, I like. Touk Miller, just coming off a couple of misses. I like him for the 20. So he's just teetering around 20. But yeah, I like Touk Miller. Very consistent. John Noble, yeah, sure. Noah Anderson, 8 out of 10 in his last. I mean, if I want to go, someone with just a slightly lower posi bracket, like the 20. 25 is a lot to ask for in a finals, especially when he's going to Perth, playing against Freo. I think he's every chance to hit. He could cop some attention. Freo have tagged in the past with Corey Wagner, who's not playing. O'Meara will probably give him some attention. He doesn't do hard tags. He's sort of similar to Dunkley, where he'll just check him at stoppages, and then Noah Anderson will beat him just running around the ground. Yeah, I like Anderson, but just not enough for 25. 30, there's no one I'm tempted by. And then goal scorers, what the fuck? Ethan Reed, 9 out of 10, $1.53. Yeah, sure. I mean, that is huge odds. And Luke Jackson, Murphy Reed, there's a lot of good odds. Ben King for 2. What was he, 2nd or 3rd in the Coleman? I can't remember if he beat Gunston or the other way around. But yeah, Ben King, coming off a 7-goal game against Essendon. He's averaging 3.4 goals a game, 9 out of 10, $1.42. I don't blame you, but like I said, I just like the posi bracket more going into finals. So that is huge. Guys, I've been freaking yapping for so long. So thank you all so much for the home and away season. I really appreciate the comments, the likes, just saying thank you and all that, because I do put a lot of time. Literally, this has been my whole Friday, which is wild, but I'm keen to go out and with a lot of research and hopefully get some wins on the board for, all you guys. So hope we cap the year off strong. But yeah, just remember, finals footy is different. The atmosphere is different. Don't get swayed by all the good odds and thinking this is just easy. Yeah, we saw it with Dacos and Dawson both missing their brackets. It can happen. So let's just enjoy the footy, and I'll be very keen to chat to you guys next week. Hopefully Jono will be back, and then we might do a Brownlow video or something like that. But yeah, Hope we have a good weekend, and I'll chat to you guys next week. Peace.